Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Chamber. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia.
Order. The senators will take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will please retire to the gallery. Buenos dias, senators. Good morning, guests. Thought I'd change it up a bit. Senators and those in attendance, if you are able, please rise. We'll be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend Lamont A. Hobbs of Metropolitan Baptist Church in Petersburg. Following the prayer, if everyone will please remain standing, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Flora Wiley of Albemarle.
Might we pray? Gracious and sovereign God, our Father, we come before you on this day with hearts filled with gratitude for blessing us with life and liberty and the privilege to serve. We thank you this morning. We acknowledge your presence in this sacred moment and in this sacred place, where decisions are made, God, that impact the lives of so many. We thank you for the leaders gathered here today, God, entrusted with the great responsibility to shape policy and to guide this great Commonwealth of Virginia. Lord, I ask for your divine wisdom to rest upon each and every member of this assembly. God, grant them clarity of thought and purpose as they deliberate the issues before us. Help them to set aside personal agendas and partisanship and instead focus on what is just equitable, beneficial for all people that they represent. God, bless them with the courage to make difficult decisions, even when the path is unclear or unpopular. God, instill in them humility to listen to opposing views with compassion for the needs of the most vulnerable among us. May their words and their actions reflect the highest ideals of service, unity, and the pursuit of common good. God, we pray for the communities they serve, from the smallest towns to the largest cities. For every individual, God, who calls Virginia home, let the laws and policies that shape this place, God, and shape their service bring opportunity, justice, and peace to all. God, we ask that you might guide us on the present and pressing and challenging issues and opportunities before them and before this nation. May they be great stewards, God, of hope and agents of positive change for every community in this Commonwealth. God, strengthen their resolve in times of conflict, calm their spirits in moments of doubt, renew their energy when the work feels heavy. Bless and protect their families and loved ones who support them in their calling. May they find joy and fulfillment in their service and confidence that their efforts are not in vain. God, we also ask that you might guide them on the pressing issues of this time. Lead this assembly to solutions that reflect integrity, fairness, progress. Let the decisions made here today and in the days to come create a legacy of hope, compassion, and prosperity for generation. In all things, may your spirit of unity and love prevail. Help us to see one another not as adversaries, but as children of God, partners in this shared mission of serving the people of Virginia. God, we thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Virginia and the responsibility entrusted to each member in this assembly. We offer this prayer in humility. We offer it in gratitude, seeking your blessings now and always. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37. You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Friday, January the 24th, 2005.
The senator from Isle of Wight, Senator Jordan, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. Those in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3.
Ayes 35, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Senator Somerville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Good afternoon, Madam President.
Good afternoon.
Madam President, I move to waive reading of the communication from the House of Delegates.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 3.
Ayes 33, noes 3. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
We do not have any, Madam President.
Well, we are at the time we like to call our morning hour, and this is when we find out who all of you beautiful people in our gallery, all about you. And the procedure is your senator will rise and tell us who you are. And if you would, at that time, rise when you hear either your name or your organization called so that we'll see who you are. And if you'll hold your applause until after I officially welcome you, then we will all applaud you together. And so with that, I do call on Senator Aird, the senator from Eastern Henrico.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for 2 introductions.
The senator may continue.
Thank you. Madam President, today our prayer was offered by the pastor, Lamont Hobbs. He is a native of Virginia, and Pastor Hobbs is a native of Petersburg. He is the pastor of the Metropolitan Baptist Church in Petersburg, and he prepared academically for his Master of Business Administration from Old Dominion University, and his Master of Divinity from the Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology. And Madam President, I'd just like to say today that we consider Pastor Hobbs a premier leader of faith in the Petersburg community because he never, ever sets aside the needs of our seniors, of our youth, of anyone who is vulnerable and in need. And he shows his faith with his hands and by the works that he does relentlessly. And so we were very privileged to have him offer the prayer here today, and I'd ask that you give him the warm welcome of the Senate.
Indeed. Thank you so very much, Reverend Hobbs, for coming. And you have degrees in business and science, and you are a reverend. So you've covered, I think, the whole gamut, really. Everything somehow falls under all of those. And we're so glad for what you do in your community, the sacrifices that you make. Thank you, sir. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Senator Aird.
Thank you so much, Madam President. We now have several guests in the gallery representing the Autism Advocacy Day, and I'd ask they please stand. Madam President, they represent autism and developmental disability organizations from all across Virginia, to include the Autism Societies of Central Virginia, Tidewater, and Northern Virginia, the Virginia Autism Project, the Virginia Autism Foundation, Commonwealth Autism, and the Charlottesville Region Autism Action Group. And so we're really lucky to have them here educating us about the importance of autism and making sure that we're providing those communities with the resources that they need. And so I'd also ask that we give them a warm Senate welcome.
We thank you also for coming and for educating us, as the senator said, on the issues that are important to you. And certainly autism is absolutely, you're the experts on it, you are experiencing it, and you know the resources that are necessary. And sometimes we'll forget here if you don't let us know, and you have to remind us. And we're glad to hear from you. Thank you for continuing to tell us that there are things that are very important, and autism is absolutely one of them. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Head, the senator from Botetourt.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining us in the gallery today are some people from Virginia Western Community College, if they would stand. Virginia Western Community College serves as an educational hub for the Roanoke region. The college excels in offering programs in healthcare and advanced manufacturing, two key areas that align with the region's workforce needs. The college offers a range of additional academic programs, including associate degrees and certificates, with strong pathways to transfer to four-year institutions, making college more affordable for families in the Roanoke region. Last spring, I had the great honor of serving as the keynote speaker for their commencement services, and they really are doing some remarkable work. And our guests this morning from Virginia Western, we have Joshua Hawks, an engineering student from Botetourt County. Yassine, see if I can get this right, Abdelkader, a business student from Roanoke. Chanel Johnson, a transfer student from Roanoke studying fine arts. Grace Dillon as a practical nursing student, and also Alexis Williams, also studying nursing. And they're accompanied by the Vice President of Student Affairs, Bern Battle, and Student Affairs staff, Natasha Lee. Hope that we can give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Welcome. Thank you for coming, and thank you for furthering your education. You know, I started my college career in the community college system, and so I know the benefits of it, but that you're a regional education hub. That means you partner with so many different entities in your region so that all will benefit. Thank you for being there and doing that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Saravel, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for two announcements and an introduction.
The senator may decide which one.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, the announcement. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, really quick, you should note that we have a supplemental calendar before us. I guess there was some kind of a problem with LIS. Didn't get the rules docket on, so we have to knock out the rules docket for first reads when we get to the end of the calendar. Second announcement I just want to mention is I appreciate all the feedback everybody gave me on the new LIS. If you haven't noticed, DLAS has actually made some changes to LIS pursuant to the feedback we gave them. They made about 10, 15 changes, and they've also sent me a timeline about all the changes that they're going to make. I've asked the clerk to forward an email to you that we got from DLAS about it, which hopefully you all will receive if you haven't yet. And then next up, Madam President, my introduction.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, joining us in the gallery today, we have the members of the Virginia AFL-CIO. The Virginia AFL-CIO represents working people all across the Commonwealth, numerous unions, the folks that teach in our schools, the folks that run into burning houses, the people that run to keep us safe when there's a situation that threatens public safety. These are the people that work behind the scenes to keep things going. They're the folks that are on the front lines whenever we have a pandemic. They're the folks that fix our broken water systems when that happens, Madam President. And they're good, hard-working people. They're here to support a couple bills this session, including the bill to allow state employees and local government employees to collectively bargain without having to get permission from the local government. They're also here to support a bill about an entertainment district up north. and a few other things. And Madam President, I would hope you could give the members of the Virginia AFL-CIO in the gallery the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good morning, afternoon. Thank you very much for coming and letting us know your views on the issues that matter to you. Absolutely, we must have all voices heard. Thank you for what you do. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, I'd like to introduce a dear friend of mine who is here to volunteer for all of us when we sometimes get sick while we're in session. And it's just an amazing thing so they can keep us in the fight. But today in the gallery we have one of the doctors that's attending for us this week, who's a dear friend, Dr. L. Trice Gravitt from UVA Health. Madam President, I would ask that you would give the fine doctor a warm welcome.
Well, fine doctor, thank you for coming. Thank you for helping us because indeed we're human too and we do have pains and we're glad that you all are there to help us when we do so we can be fit to serve the people. Thank you very much for your service. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Senator Carol Foy, the senator from Eastern Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I ask that we welcome Ms. Lisa Lucas Burke. Could you please stand? Thank you. Lisa is here to advocate along with the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She has a number of accomplishments in her own right as former Vice Mayor of Portsmouth, Chair of Portsmouth Economic Development Authority, and as a legacy of the dynamic President Pro Tem, Senator Louise Lucas. I hope it is the will of this body to give her a warm Senate welcome.
Well, thank you, the Honorable Lisa Lucas Burke. Thank you for what you have done in your community, and thank you so very much for the sacrifices that you have made. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. And I might as well do this now because I was wondering, well, who's going to recognize the Deltas? And that would be Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the Senate, and everyone under the sound of my voice joining us today in the Senate Gallery, House of Delegates, and committee rooms all across the Commonwealth, all across campus. The phenomenal women of our illustrious sisterhood, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, are here today. Founded in 1913 on the campus of Howard University, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority has been a beacon of sisterhood, scholarship, and service for over a century. These trailblazing women have championed civil rights, social justice, education, and economic empowerment, leaving an indelible mark on communities across the nation and the globe. From the historic 1913 Women's Suffrage March in Washington, D.C., to our ongoing commitment to uplifting marginalized voices and advocating for policy changes that promote equity and opportunity, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority continues to lead with purpose and passion. Madam President, these distinguished women represent the values and ideas that we, as public servants, strive to uphold every day. Their presence here reminds us of the importance of service to our communities and the power of collective action. Today, we honor their contributions and thank them for their unwavering dedication to improving the lives of others. It is with much pride that I ask you to join me in extending a very warm welcome to the phenomenal women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated as we recognize their legacy and their ongoing commitment to excellence. Thank you, Madam President.
Well, good afternoon, Deltas. Good afternoon. We are so glad that you are here. The senator mentioned service, and sacrifice, and we know that when you say service, it is sacrifice, because you could have been doing something else, but you decided that someone else needed your help, and you were there ready and willing. Thank you so very much for what you do, because you look back and you not just going forward, you're trying to bring somebody else up with you. And is that not what we're supposed to do in life? Thank you very much. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator McDougall, the senator from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, today we have members of the James City Williamsburg School Board in the audience. Madam President, we have Sarah Ortega, Michael Hosang, Andrea Donner, Kim Hudnall, and Randall Riffle. Madam President, these members are here to talk about what James City Williamsburg is doing to advance education. Madam President, I've spent some time with them over the last couple months, and they are really trying some innovative things, particularly in their pre-K leading into elementary. And I appreciate the fact that they're willing to come down and share some of the innovations and efforts that they are making, not only for our community, but hopefully will benefit the Commonwealth as a whole. So thank you all for being here. And Madam President, if you could offer them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Indeed. Thank you for also coming, the honorables, and you're also serving. And that you are looking for innovative ways to educate our children is admirable, because that's what this is all about. Innovation drives change, and the world is changing, and we must change with it. Thank you. Otherwise, we will be stagnant, and that is no future for our children. Senators, let's give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Williams Graves, the senator from Norfolk.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery today, we are joined by members of the Virginia Manufacturers Association, including VMA Chairman Sidney Harrison, VMA President and CEO Brett Vassy, for their Makers in the Square Lobby Day event. Since 1922, the VMA's mission has been to create the best business environment in the United States for world-class advanced technology businesses to manufacture and headquarter their companies for maximum productivity and profitability. Virginia's 6,000 plus manufacturers employ over 239,000 individuals, contribute $49.5 billion with a B to the gross state product, and account for over 80% of the Commonwealth's manufactured goods exported to the global economy. We also have in attendance Women in Manufacturing, Virginia's 2024 Woman of the Year, Belinda Black. Belinda is the director of the Chemical Product Engineering Division at Cannon, Virginia, Incorporated. Her 30-year career in manufacturing, commitment to mentoring and leadership, and contributions have earned her the highest honor conferred by the Women in Manufacturing Virginia chapter. Please join me in congratulating her on this impressive achievement. And I would ask, Madam President, that the entire Senate give a warm Senate welcome to the Virginia Manufacturers Association.
Wonderful. Wonderful accomplishment. I tell you, it is just amazing to hear a woman in manufacturing receiving all of those accolades, and that you all as a whole contribute $49.5 billion to our economy. If those monies were to go away, it would create a severe hole in our budget indeed. And so we hope to continue the business environment where you can continue to create jobs and continue to make futures for our Virginians and continue to grow so that we can attract even more manufacturers. to Virginia. Thank you all for coming. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an exciting introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Members of the Virginia chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws are here today, and they're in support of multiple cannabis-related bills, including my SB 1054, Senator Rouse's bill, and Senator Marston's SB 1442. These citizens from across the Commonwealth visit us every year to share their support for our bipartisan efforts to promote evidence-based, pragmatic cannabis policies that center consumer interests and prioritize public health and safety. As you know, Madam President, cannabis has been legal for authorized medical use for many years now, and in 2021, Senator Lucas and I passed legislation to legalize the responsible use of marijuana for adults 21 and older. Regardless of whether or not you voted for that legislation, there's one point on which now I hope we can all undoubtedly agree, that it's time we take marijuana off the street corner and out of the corner store and place it behind an age-verified counter where it can be regulated for consumer safety and kept out of the hands of youth. Leaving marijuana sales unregulated and continuing to cede control of Virginia's marijuana market to illicit operators cannot accomplish these goals. So with that, Madam President, I hope that you will grant them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for letting us know, again, the issues that are important to you. And I'm sure as you've been visiting your senators and delegates, they've become more informed, and we're all glad you're here. And as the senator has said, it's exciting times. Thank you again. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Boysko. Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to ask that the Journal reflect that my seatmate, the senator from Northern Fairfax County, is away on personal pressing business today.
Thank you, Senator. The Journal will so reflect.
And Madam President, the introduction that Senator Boysko was going to do is going to be delivered by Senator Salim.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to welcome members of Virginia Transit Association to the gallery this afternoon. Each year, the Commonwealth's public transportation network handles over 125 million trips, generates over $10 billion in economic benefits for the state, and prevents the release of over 78,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions from our environment. Simply, public transportation moves our citizens, our economy, and our environment forward. So I hope you will join members of VTA tonight at Richmond's historic Main Street Station at 5:30 p.m. for their annual Transit and Rail Barbecue Bash reception. Madam President, with that, please give the members of the Virginia Transit Association a warm welcome of the Senate.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. And you do contribute to our economic development after all. We have to have transportation that is, well, it's on time and it gets us where we need to be. And thank you also for contributing to cleaning up our environment. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Obenshain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, I rise to request a leave of absence for my seatmate, Senator Pillion, who's away from the Capitol on pressing personal business.
Thank you, Senator. The Journal will so reflect. Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, it is my privilege to welcome the good folks from Northern Virginia Community College. And with us, we have President Kress, Jose Demas, Director of Government Affairs, Jose Huggins, a NOVA board member, and Wade Tetsuka, the NOVA Foundation board member. Joining them today, however, it is my pleasure to welcome two of their wonderful students. Annabelle Betts, who is a Fairfax native and is pursuing an associate's degree in mechanical engineering and a welding career studies certificate through George Mason Advanced Program. Her goal is to earn a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with a concentration in aerospace and a minor in mathematics, leading to a career in the aerospace and welding industries. And with her is also Ryan Arsenault, who is a dedicated and ambitious student from Leesburg with a strong passion for pursuing a career in politics. So he is in the right place. Ryan is a first-year student at the Loudoun campus working on his Associates of Science and Political Science degree. And Ryan is a senator for the Loudoun Campus Student Government Association, a senator for the Nova College Senate, a panel member for student conduct hearings, a student representative for the Student Conduct and Safety Committee, and chairman of the Student Government Advisory Council. I'm tired reading that. He previously interned for the U.S. House of Representatives and is currently a legal assistant at a law firm in Leesburg. So pretty soon we may be seeing him here amongst us. I do ask that we all join in offering a warm welcome to this wonderful group. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for coming as well. And students, you have a bright future ahead of you. I can hear already. So thank you for the sacrifice you're certainly making, sir, with all of those positions that you're holding. And ma'am, thank you as well. Engineering, welding, aerospace, the aerospace industry is billions of dollars, and you saw all those drones all over and we couldn't figure out what they were, but I'm sure you had an idea. And finally, administrators, Madam President, thank you all. Thank you for the dedication to these young lives that you certainly do, and the returning lives, because I was a returning student myself. Thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Williams Graves, the senator from Norfolk.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for one more introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to ask the mayor of Harrisonburg to please stand. We have with us today, and she's leaving, Mayor Deanna Reed, who is visiting with us today, the Honorable, and she is currently in her 5th term as mayor of Harrisonburg, so I would love it if we would give her the welcome of the Senate.
Welcome, her honor. Thank you for being the mayor. Thank you for all that you do in your community. Thank you for running for office. Thank you for being willing to serve. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for another great introduction this morning.
Wonderful.
In the chamber today, it is my honor to welcome a group of very talented young students. This is the first year that my office has worked hard to create a leadership program, something that I know other senators do as well, and I will hopefully be yielding the mic to them to present their students to you. But these students come from a myriad of high schools in Northern Virginia, in Fairfax County, and we had over 90 applications from students to come here to be a part of what we do, to see how the sausage is made, if you would, and to meet the people who are making such impactful decisions for our Commonwealth. And I will say, from reading the many applications, and I spent a lot of time reading these applications, Madam President, this is a group of extremely talented students. Many of them have already shown their leadership skills in very profound ways in their communities and on the school level, and I can only imagine what they will do as they continue to get out in the community and make us a better place and a better Commonwealth. And I will also say that joining them today, we have a parent, and we have a wonderful, wonderful former aide of mine from when I was on the school board, Shaheen Khurana. And I thank the parents and Shaheen for coming out here and bringing these kids to be part of this very special place. So I hope you join me in giving them a very warm Senate welcome.
Please rise if you are able, so that we can see your beautiful faces. Well, I hope from what you've seen so far, it has not deterred you from considering that maybe one day you would definitely like to serve either in the Senate or in the House or even higher office. And we're glad that you decided that you wanted to come and see, so much that you applied. You actually filled out an application. You made the next step, and that shows commitment. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator McPike, the senior senator from Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
It's a similar theme from the prior introduction, Madam President, and I'm honored to introduce two outstanding young leaders from Prince William County who are participating in our Prince William Youth Leadership Program that we're helping to revive and re-energize. Joining us in the gallery today are Sue Aline, a senior at Gainesville High School, and Denad, a senior at Forest Park High School. And these two exceptional students represent the bright future of our Commonwealth, and through this program, they're gaining firsthand experience with Virginia's legislative process and engaging with the leaders from across the state. And Madam President, I yield to the senator from Eastern Prince William as well, and kind of Fairfax-ish.
Senator Carol Foy.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. I would like to introduce the 7 extraordinary high school students taking part in my 5th annual Ella Baker Youth Leadership Program. This year, we have students from both Prince William and Fairfax counties representing 5 different schools, including Freedom High School, Woodbridge Senior High School, Lake Braddock Secondary School, West Springfield High School, and the homeschool community. You will likely see many of these incredible students around the Capitol today and tomorrow, sitting in on committee meetings, listening to presentations from advocacy groups, and meeting with leaders and staff that engage with the legislative process on a daily basis. Ella Baker was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and she was a human and civil rights leader. Most notably, she worked with W.B. Du Bois, Thurgood Marshall, A. Philip Randolph, and Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Since 2018, my first year of serving in the House of Delegates, I have sponsored this program with the goal of empowering students of all backgrounds from across my district to get involved in the political process in the spirit of Ella Baker. I am proud to continue this tradition representing the 33rd Senate District. I now ask that you give them a warm Senate welcome.
If you are here, please rise. Wonderful. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting to be a part of all of this. Thank you for wanting to see it up close for yourselves and understanding how all of this works, because really this is your future. And now I'm speaking to all of you. This is your future, and you play a necessary part in it. And one day you will fulfill these roles, and you will be doing it for the next generation. So thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth. Your mic.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of another introduction, and I think you got the green sheet just about the same time that I did. Madam President, it is my honor to to present to you the Chesapeake Men for Progress Foundation as they celebrate one of the most important initiatives supporting the future leaders of our community through scholarships for young high school men. This scholarship program reflects our unwavering commitment to empowering young men as they pursue higher education and their dreams. We recognize that education is a key to unlocking potential, and by investing in these bright, capable students, we're investing in the future of our community and the world. To the young men here today, you represent hope, promise, and the progress we strive for. We're proud to stand beside you on your journey, and we know that you will achieve indelible things, incredible things. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to this mission. Your generosity and belief in these young men make all the difference. Together, we are building a legacy, opportunity of excellence and progress. Madam President, I would appreciate it if you would extend to the new Chesapeake Men for Progress Foundation the very warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank you for wanting to provide a future for the next generation, because that is exactly what you're doing when you provide scholarships. What would we do if we didn't have people who said, you know, somebody ought to do something, and you decide that, well, I am that somebody, and you're that very many somebodies. Thank you for reaching back. Thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Again, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction for another group of extraordinary young people.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery, we're joined by members of the Richmond Public Schools Student Advisory Committee, Parent and Caregiver Advisory Council, and the Interfaith Advisory Council, as well as staff and community members who are here to advocate for public education funding this session. Their priorities include implementing the JLARC K-12 funding recommendations, more school construction funding, and better support for student mental health. But most importantly, they want all of us to know that RPS is on the rise. RPS increased its K-12 reading proficiency by 7 percentage points, which means that RPS schools are now above pre-pandemic levels. RPS was up on every SOL last year and grew faster than the state on 4 out of 5 subjects. And then also our Richmond City schools increased the high school graduation rate by 6 percentage points, including an increase of 18% for our English language learners. I would ask that we congratulate Richmond Public Schools and also give our guests in the gallery the warm welcome of the Senate.
I do congratulate you, we all do, for your accomplishments, for 7% increase in your pass rate. That is awesome. And of course, this is all for your future. And again, even though it is for your future is Virginia's future. Thank you for doing so well in school. Cannot thank you enough. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Is there any other business to come for the morning hour?
Madam Speaker.
The senator from...
Oh, Madam President, sorry, bad habit.
As the senator has noticed, I've been called many things, and I answer. Senator Jordan, the senator from Isle of Wight.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe I have so hopefully some folks in the gallery, so I rise for an introduction and an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. Hopefully in the gallery we have Malcolm Mitchell joining us, and if he is here, please rise. First, to introduce Malcolm. So we're going to have a party tonight. We'll talk about announcements later. But when former New England's Patriot wide receiver and Super Bowl champion Malcolm Mitchell entered the University of Georgia, he could only read at a junior high level. Something he realized after attending his first English class and recognizing he wasn't at the same literacy levels as his peers. He knew he needed to do something. But being the competitor that he's always been, he vowed to improve and join a monthly book club, and it changed his life. Books became an avenue for expanding his curiosity, creativity, and learning. In 2015, Malcolm authored and published his first children's book, The Magician's Hat, and created a youth literacy initiative called Read with Malcolm. He went on to establish a 501c3, Share the Magic Foundation, with a sole purpose to transform children's lives through literacy. Since its founding, the foundation has placed in the hands of more than 250,000 young minds books with the Read with Malcolm program, and distributed more now to 1 million students worldwide. Today, Malcolm serves as the CEO of Share the Magic Foundation and travels to schools across the country, including promoting literacy and making sure that every child may own a book. He's working on his third book right now as we speak with Scholastic. Among Malcolm's awards and accomplishments, both on and off the field, he considers discovering a love of reading as his greatest achievement. Malcolm also serves with me on the advisory board for the James Solomon Russell St. Paul's College Museum in Lawrenceville. And with that, I hope that we could give Malcolm Mitchell a warm Senate welcome.
Mr. Mitchell, are you here?
I think he might be down the house. All right. With that, I'll go on to my announcement.
Well, if I could just at least an abstention for the record of the Journal, thank him for continuing the improvement of his life for the betterment and the service of others. Senator Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to announce today, or this evening, the James Solomon Russell St. Paul's College Museum and Archives, in partnership with Malcolm Mitchell, will be hosting a legislative reception at the Credit Union House. I would encourage all of you to stop to learn more about the history of such a dynamic HBCU in St. Paul's College, and also how we are working as a museum advisory council to uphold the history and traditions of St. Paul's College with their distinct motto, Challenge by Choice. Thank you, Madam President.
Indeed, we thank our HBCUs for all of their contributions to the education of our future leaders. Is there any other business to come for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Monday, January 27, 2025. Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on third reading.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the Senate bills on third reading uncontested calendar on pages 1 through 8, Senate Bill 777 through 1338, be placed on their final passage in a block. Any senator desiring to move bill from the block shall do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate bills on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 1 through 8, Senate Bill 777 through Senate Bill 1338, be placed upon their final passage in the block with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bills. Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
Senate Bill 777, Senate Bill 1339, Senate Bill 757, Senate Bill 785, 7085, Senate Bill 830, Senate Bill 842, Senate Bill 861, Senate Bill 890, Senate Bill 969, Senate Bill 991, Senate Bill 1000, Senate Bill 1174, Senate Bill 1248, Senate Bill 1338, 1338.
The question is, shall the bills in the block pass? All in favor of passage of the bills will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar, Senate bills on third reading. Senate Bill 894, a bill relating to certain civil actions against employees, liability of employer to vulnerable victims.
The senior senator from Loudoun, Senator Perry.
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
I move passage of the bill and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Senate Bill 894 is a bill dealing with torts or intentional injuries caused to vulnerable victims. So we're talking about individuals who are comatose in hospital, people who are elderly, otherwise disabled, and putting on the employer that they have a duty to those individuals and to the people who help care for those individuals. I'll tell the members of this body that we have the doctors, lawyers, and hospitals have all come on board on this bill and are all unhappy. And as I think the senator from Rockingham County said previously, that means it's a good bill. And I would move passage of this bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 13.
Ayes 24, noes 13. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1132, a bill relating to prohibiting...
For what purpose does the senator from Eastern Fairfax rise?
Having voted on the preventing side by which we just passed Senate Bill 894, can we reconsider that vote because one of the voting machines over here was not working correctly?
The question is, shall the vote by which Senate Bill 894 passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Perry.
Thank you, Madam President. I move passage of the bill again, and just to remind members of the body, this is a bill that protects the most vulnerable victims from things like sexual assault and other intentional torts like the breaking of bones of neonates in the hospital.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 25, noes 12, Rule 36-1.
Ayes 25, noes 12, Rule 36-1. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1132, a bill relating to prohibiting employers seeking wage or salary history of prospective employees, wage or salary range transparency, cause of action.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1132 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 1356, a bill relating to fees for electronic fund transfers prohibited.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from the senior senator from Loudon rise?
Madam President, I believe this is Senator Srinivasan's first bill, and I'd ask that it go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1356, unless the senator objects, goes by for the day.
Hopefully I'll be lucky, Madam President, next time.
Senate Bill 1122, a bill relating to paid family and medical leave insurance program notice requirements, civil action.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that SB 1122 go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1122 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 747, a bill relating to juvenile and domestic relations district courts, delinquent juveniles, social assessments, and evaluations.
Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill pass, and speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. What this bill does is after a juvenile has been adjudicated delinquent, at the point of sentencing, the bill has language that says the judge may request a multidisciplinary assessment of the juvenile's service needs. This is permissive, but it is an important step, I believe, as part of the sentencing process, with the hopes that perhaps more diversion programs will actually become part of the sentencing strategies that judges use. It is a bipartisan bill, and I hope it is the will of the body to pass it.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 760, a bill relating to elections, deadline for receipt of absentee ballots and certain other information, 5:00 p.m. on the third day after elections.
Again, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill pass, and speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President. What this bill does is it extends the time by which a ballot must be received from noon on the third day after the election until 5 p.m. That's all the bill does, is it changes that time. My colleagues may be interested in knowing that the United States Postal Service, in one of its many sites, says that the average time for mail delivery is 2.8 days. That's a national average. It sounds very ambitious, but it is a national average. So if it's 2.8 days, giving them 3 full days to make sure the ballots are received seems very reasonable. I do hope it is the will of the body to pass this bill. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 15.
Ayes 23, noes 15. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 813, a bill relating to voter registration, regular periodic review of registration records, 40-day quiet period before all primary and general elections.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Good afternoon, Madam President.
Good afternoon.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
This bill just requires the Department of Elections to complete no later than 90 days prior to the date of a primary or general election any program, the purpose of which is to systematically remove the names of ineligible voters from the voter registration system. That is the bill. Thank you, Madam President. Now, move that it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 814, a bill relating to election of certain governing bodies, conversion to single-member districts.
Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
This bill allows the governing body of a locality that has been subject to a court order imposing a remedial election system under voting rights laws to adopt an ordinance to convert one or more at-large seats of such a body to single-member districts, and this is particularly pertaining to the city of Virginia Beach. And I move that it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 848, a bill relating to assault firearms purchase age requirement penalty.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, I urge members of this body to support a common sense bill that will save lives and make our community safer. This bill raises the age requirement for purchasing assault firearms to 21 and strengthens background checks. Assault firearms are designed to maximum lethality and have been used in some of the deadliest mass shootings. Yet, under law, an 18-year-old who can't buy a handgun can purchase an assault firearm. This makes no sense. Young adults under 21 are more prone to impulsive behaviors, and restricting their access to these weapons can't prevent tragedies. Madam President, this bill is consistent with legal traditions and includes exceptions for law enforcement and military personnel. Other states, including more conservative states like Florida, have seen success with similar laws. This bill builds on the proven approach. Madam President, this is a balanced approach, protecting rights while enshrining public safety. If we can save even one life, it's worth doing. Madam President, I ask this body to pass this bill.
Senator Obenshain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, I rise to speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, I would hope that people would throw up a red vote on this for a couple of reasons. First of all, we've long made the determination that 18 and 19-year-olds can vote. 18, 19, 20-year-olds can join the military. 18, 19, and 20-year-olds are entitled to all of the rights that are embodied in the Bill of Rights. And as a matter of fact, courts have held that these laws are unconstitutional. So this is a bill that flies in the face of decisional authority that is being issued in courts around the United States of America, and I would suspect strongly that if this bill is passed, and the unlikely event that it is signed into law either this year or in future years, it will be struck down as being violative of the Second Amendment of the American Constitution.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 19, noes 18.
Ayes 19, noes 18. The bill passes.
Madam President.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Having voted on the prevailing side by which we just adopted Senate Bill 848, I move to reconsider that vote. I sat here and watched my member push her screen 5 times. It didn't work, so she can vote this time.
I evidence the same, Senator. The question is, shall the vote by which Senate Bill 848 passed be reconsidered. Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 0.
Ayes 37, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass, and of course, speaking to that bill.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Eastern Fairfax County rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
The senator may state it.
After bill has been explained and we move to reconsider it, is the appropriate way to explain the bill is just to say that having been previously explained, I move to pass the bill?
The senator is correct.
Thank you, Madam President.
Unless the senator wishes to speak.
Madam President, having previously explained the bill, I hope that we pass this bill.
Now then, the question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 880, a bill relating to carrying assault firearms in public areas, prohibited penalty.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Simply put, this bill prohibits the carrying of assault weapons in public areas, these particularly deadly weapons, and I hope that we'll pass the bill.
Senator Obenshain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, I would ask if the senator from Alexandria would yield for a question.
Will the senator from Alexandria rise and yield for a question? The senator from Alexandria yields. The senator from Rockingham has the floor.
President, I would ask, in looking at the language on lines 11, 12, and 13, it makes it unlawful for any person to carry any of the following, which are, long guns, basically, on or about his person on any public street, road, alley, sidewalk, or public right-of-way. What I would ask is, isn't carrying a gun in a case on or about your person?
The senator from Alexandria has the floor.
I have not asked DLS that particular question. I'm sure the senator will opine on it.
Well, speaking to the bill then.
The senator from Rockingham has the floor.
Well, Madam President, I would hope that we would either take this by, that the patron would either take this by to address this, or that we would vote against this. I know what the senator from Alexandria wants to do with this bill, but I would respectfully submit it does more than that. I would submit that the way that this is drafted, and I haven't talked with any of the drafters, but I can tell you carrying a gun on or about a person is pretty vague and pretty broad. And if you are, if this bill bans carrying this gun from your house to your car in a case, it is positively unconstitutional. I would hope that the members would vote no, both because this is unnecessary, it's bad policy, it is, and further that it is clearly unconstitutional.
Senator Eben.
I thank the senator for his concern. This is the identical wording to the bill from last year, but I'm going to take it by for the day, and I thank him for his efforts for me to perfect this piece of legislation.
Without objection.
We take it by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 880 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 881, a bill relating to manufacture, importation, sale, transfer, or possession of plastic firearms and unfinished frames or receivers, and unserialized firearms prohibited. Penalties.
Again, Senator Eben.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
This bill establishes a classified felony for any person who knowingly manufactures, assembles, imports, sells, transfers a so-called ghost gun. The provisions of this bill would apply to a firearm that, after the removal of all parts other than a major component, is not detectable when subject to types of detection devices like X-ray machines. And under current law, it's illegal to manufacture, import, sell, transfer, possess a plastic firearm. This bill would also create a misdemeanor, making it lawful for any person to knowingly do those same things with an unfinished frame or receiver. And the portions of the bill prohibiting unfinished frames and receivers and unserialized firearms have a delayed enactment date, effective date. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 891, a bill relating to purchase of firearms, waiting period, penalty.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the bill pass. And speaking to the bill.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 891 establishes a 5-day waiting period for firearm purchases, a policy designed to prevent impulsive acts of violence and give individuals in crisis a critical window of time to reconsider their actions. The facts are clear. Waiting period works. A study by the National Academy of Science found that the waiting periods may reduce gun homicides by up to 17% and gun suicide by up to 11%. These numbers represent lives saved, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters who might otherwise be lost to their preventable tragedies. Why do waiting periods work? Because they provide a cooling off period, a chance to pause and reflect. In moments of anger, despair, or emotional distress, a firearm can turn a temporary crisis into a permanent tragedy. This bill gives people that crucial moment to step back, seek help, or reconsider. This bill also allows exceptions to ensure that it is both fair and practical. For example, it does not apply to law enforcement officers, active duty military personnel, or individuals who already hold valid concealed carry permits. These exceptions strikes a balance between public safety and the need of those who are trained and authorized to use firearms in their professional capacity. Madam President, I ask this body to go ahead and pass this bill.
Senator Obenchain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, speaking of the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, I would point out what you're voting for on this bill is not just to provide a cooling off period for people who may be impulsive, but there has been discussion for years about this bill and about the advisability of adding an exception that would protect people who are under a direct threat. Let's take, for example, people who have just gotten an emergency protective order, a spouse who has been abused, a spouse who is in fear for their life or for the lives of their children. They're not worried about their impulsiveness. I'm not worried about their impulsiveness. They may have a very real reason why they need to get a gun and get it now, because they are in danger and they know that a police car isn't going to be at their house instantaneously when they need it. I would respectfully submit that this bill goes much further and does much more than has been articulated in support of it. If you believe that people who have obtained a protective order ought to have the right to go get a gun if they feel the need to do it, this bill prohibits that. And I would urge members to vote no.
The question. Senator Salim.
Thank you, Madam President. If I may quickly respond to that.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, this approach works because other states like Florida, they have a 3-day waiting period that's been in place for decades and have been credited with reducing gun-related suicides and homicides. And when we look further into California, which has a 10-day waiting period, has helped prevent impulsive acts of violence. These are proven methods. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Rome, the senator from Western Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, will the senator from Rockingham yield for a question?
Will the senator from Rockingham rise and yield for a question?
Sure.
Senator from Rockingham yields. The senator from Western Prince William has the floor.
Madam President, I would ask the senator if during the Courts of Justice Committee meeting that came up about this bill, whether the senator offered any amendments that actually dealt with having a carve-out or otherwise for emergency protective order, or if under Jefferson's manual, because he wasn't going to vote for the underlying bill, whether he asked another member of the Courts of Justice Committee to offer such an amendment.
The senator from Rockingham.
Yeah, I can't recall, honestly, whether any amendments were offered or whether I suggested it. We've talked about this for years, and I think everybody knows what this bill does, and I think everybody knows what it does to women and families and folks who are feel threatened, who may feel an immediate need for protection. I don't remember the process that this went through in committee, but I know what the bill does, and I think what it does is not good.
Madam President.
Senator Rome.
Madam President, will the senator yield for one additional question?
Will the senator from Rockingham yield for another question?
I'll yield for as many questions as anybody wants.
The senator from Rockingham yields. The senator from Western Prince William has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, would the senator agree that the number one instrument used in completing a suicide is a firearm?
The senator from Rockingham.
I don't know, but if the senator from Prince William has statistics to show that, I wouldn't argue with them.
All right, so Madam President, speaking to the bill.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, I'm not going to assume that the senator's suggested amendment, for example, or if something that could come up regarding protective orders isn't warranted, necessary, or anything along those lines, there probably is a pretty good point to be raised about it. And at the same time, I would suggest that the immediate urgency that this deals with are the very likely day-to-day scenarios in which someone attempts to take their life with a firearm, as that is, in fact, the most commonly used instrument in completing a suicide. And one of the things I deal with as a legislator here, more than just about any other topic, is when I'm dealing with trying to make our roads safer, because we've had 4 consecutive years of 900+ fatalities on our roadways. There are only 2 causes of unnatural death in the Commonwealth that exceed traffic fatalities in a year. Number 1 is overdoses, and number 2 is gun violence. And that's the data that comes directly from the Commonwealth government. And so I would suggest that at the very least, if we have a good faith suggestion, as was mentioned here, that during the legislative process that goes into the House, maybe there's a way to consider that. Maybe there's a way to deal with it. But I would not urge the defeat of this bill today, because my number 1 priority here is making sure that we are preventing suicides when we know we have an opportunity to do so. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 941, a bill relating to robbery, air or gas-operated weapon penalty.
The senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator DeSteffe.
Madam President, speaking to the bill. I move that the bill pass.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, speaking to the bill.
The senator may continue.
So, Madam President, what this bill does is in 18.2.3082-2, it adds air or gas-powered weapons. And let me explain why I've put this in. Madam President, We talk about air or gas-powered weapons. Most people think of a BB gun or a 177 caliber pellet. Well, today you can get a 20 caliber, 22 caliber, 25 caliber, 30, 357, 45, 454, or even a 50 caliber pellet that goes through, or a bullet that goes through an air or gas-operated rifle at roughly 1,750 feet per second. Madam President, the standard 454 1911 Colt shoots at 850 feet per second with a stopping power of a 45. Imagine what that stopping power would be at 1,750 feet per second. Madam President, with that, I move past this fine bill. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1110, a bill relating to weapons possession prohibited in a hospital that provides mental health services or developmental services. Penalty.
Senator Williams Graves, the senator from Norfolk.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass, and speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 1110 makes it a Class 1 misdemeanor for any person to intentionally and knowingly possess in the building of any hospital that provides mental health or developmental services in the Commonwealth, including an emergency department or other facility rendering emergency medical care, a firearm, knife with a blade over 3 1/2 inches, or other dangerous weapon, including explosives and stun weapons. The bill also provides notice of such prohibitions shall be posted conspicuously at each public entrance of any hospital, and no person shall be convicted of the offense if such notice is not posted, unless such person had actual notice of the prohibition. The bill provides that any such firearm, knife, explosive, or weapon shall be subject to seizure by a law enforcement officer and forfeited to the Commonwealth, and specifies exceptions to the prohibition, including law enforcement. Nationally, Madam President, healthcare workers are 5 times more likely to be injured at work than individuals in other professions. Over the past 2 years, the hospital in my jurisdiction, Centera, has intercepted more than 3,700 weapons that would have otherwise entered its emergency departments, including 2,044 knives, 296 box cutters, 159 tasers, 108 handguns, and they've also confiscated machetes, Madam President. This bill protects frontline workers, contains new language based on feedback from last year's session. It has a House cognate that would create a Class 1 misdemeanor, again, for knowingly and intentionally possessing a firearm, location-restricted knife, explosive, stun weapon, or other dangerous weapon in a hospital. The legislation does not apply to law enforcement agencies in the discharge of their official duties, persons with written authorization from the hospital, including authorization related to an employee's scope of employment, or a person subject to an emergency custody or involuntary detention order who are brought into the hospital. Madam President, I move that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 19, noes 19.
Ayes 19, noes 19. Chair votes no.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senior senator from Prince William rise?
Having voted on the prevailing side, which Senate Bill 1011 failed to report, I move the reconsideration of its passage.
The question is, shall the vote by which Senate Bill 1110 fail be reconsidered? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 1.
Ayes 37, noes 1. The bill is reconsidered, or the vote by which it failed is reconsidered. Senator Williams-Graves.
Madam President, having explained Senate Bill 1110 previously, I move that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1119, a bill relating to elections, primary dates, presidential year primaries. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections, and there are 2 floor amendments.
Senator Van Valkenburg, the senator from Western Henrico.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, DLS noticed that there was a couple technical amendments that were necessary to get this in the right posture, so I beg your forgiveness for going through this process. But first, I would move that we reconsider the vote by which Senate Bill 1119 was ordered to be engrossed and advanced to its 3rd reading.
The question is, shall the vote by which Senate Bill 1119 passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we waive the reading of the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The reading of the amendment is waived. Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, I move that we agree to the floor amendment in speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, we just didn't list a part of the bill in the title or the enactment, and that is 24.2-514. And so all we are doing is putting that in the title and in the enactment clause. And so I renew my motion that we agree to the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the floor amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The floor amendments are agreed to. Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, I move that we suspend the rules and dispense with the 3rd constitutional reading.
You're engrossing. You have to engross it first.
I move that we, thank you. I move that we engross Senate Bill 1119 and pass to its 3rd constitutional reading.
The question is, shall Senate Bill 1119 be engrossed in advance to its 3rd reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed in advance to its 3rd reading.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, I move that we suspend the rules and dispense with the 3rd constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the 3rd constitutional reading of the bill be dispensed with? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The rules are suspended and the 3rd constitutional reading of the bill is dispensed with. Finally, Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, I move that Senate Bill 1119 pass and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, let's start with a palate cleanse. This is not a weapons bill. Okay. All right. So Senate Bill 11, I've got your attention. Senate Bill 1119 aligns the primary dates in presidential election years to the presidential primary. It makes no change to the number of petition signatures required, but would allow more time to gather those signatures by putting it on aligning the signature gathering timelines to that of the presidential election. This is a good government bill that aligns our primaries, reduces the number of elections, and saves the taxpayer money. In presidential years, we have early vote for 37% of the year. I think this bill is good for voters. They vote once in the primaries rather than being confused by multiple elections. I think it's good for the registrars who otherwise are running 2 elections in the spring. And I think it's just the right thing to do. And so I renew my motion that Senate Bill 1119 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 11.
Ayes 27, noes 11. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1134, a bill relating to storage of firearms in a residence where a minor or a person prohibited from possessing a firearm is present. Penalty.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that SB 1134 go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1134 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 1166, a bill relating to invasive plant species retail sales.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the bill pass. And speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 1166, a practical solution to the growing threats of invasive plant species in Virginia. This bill requires retailers selling invasive plants for outdoor use to post clear signage identifying them as invasive, educating consumers about their risk, and encouraging alternatives. It is a bipartisan effort to address a problem that's costing our state millions annually. Invasive plants are not just an environmental issue, they're also an economic issue too. Virginia spends over $1 billion each year managing invasive species. For example, Fairfax County estimates it will need $9.25 million over 15 years to remove invasive bamboos, and Loudoun County is investing $2 million in invasive plant removal. These costs are unsustainable. The impact of this is felt everywhere. In Nelson County, a 300-acre farm is battling an invasive grass that threatens to shut down cattle operations. The infestation spread from a neighboring property where it was planted and to the watershed. In urban areas, the story is the same. Monticello Park in Alexandria, a premier birding site, faced a 2-acre winter creeper infestation that turned the forest floor into a barren wetland. After 2 years and $5,000 in treatment, native plants like bodroot and maple leaf are finally returning. Without intervention, this vital green space would have been lost. Madam President, SB 1166 empowers consumers to make informed choice so that they don't accidentally cause an invasive plant infestation. For that reason, I ask that we pass this bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 9.
Ayes 29, noes 9. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1181, a bill relating to purchase, possession, sale, transfer, etc. of assault weapon, firearms, and certain ammunition, feeding devices, prohibited. Penalty.
Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the bill pass, and I'd like to speak to that.
Senator may continue.
Madam President, this is the bill that prohibits the possession of assault-style firearms manufactured after July 1 of 2025. Except for the change in the date, which it's changed a couple of times, it's identical to the legislation we passed in 2023 and 2024.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1329, a bill relating to carrying concealed weapons exception penalty.
The senior senator from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass. And speaking to the measure.
Senate will come to order.
Move that the bill pass. And speaking to that measure.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you so much. One of the things we learned during the pandemic, we learned all about supply chains. And regrettably, we have perfected one here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've perfected a supply chain. And that would be guns into the wrong hands, the wrong people here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In 2010, first year I was here, a bill came over from the House. And it basically stated that you could have a gun in your car without a concealed weapons permit as long as you kept it locked. Sounded fairly reasonable. It passed out of the Senate, went over to Governor McDonald, who amended it, just changed one word, from locked to secured. So what does secured mean? Not rattling around. In the door slot, shoved down between the seat and the center console, and the race to the perfected supply chain was on. It's taken a number of years, but here we are. I got a few statistics here. We got Richmond is sort of leading the way. They're fourth in the country. Portsmouth ninth. Portsmouth sixth. Norfolk ninth in the country. It used to be that people would break into homes to steal guns, but it's much more efficient and quick. Go down the road, yank on car doors, and go in and get them from cars. You can get multiple guns in one night. And a lot of them are traced back to crimes. We don't have the crime rates we do from back in the 80s and the early 90s, but violent crime has been up in this Commonwealth, as some of us are well aware. And I think this is the primary cause. This is the holy grail of what's going wrong right now in the Commonwealth of Virginia around the issue of concealed weapons in cars. And what this bill does is just merely takes away the exemption that was taken out of the code back in 2010 that basically says you have to have a concealed weapons permit now, that you can't just keep a gun in a car. Now, can you open carry? You still can open carry. Could you, without a concealed weapons permit, walk into your car, put a gun on the front seat beside you to protect yourself? Absolutely. But what you can't do is conceal the weapon. And that doesn't mean a weapon has to be 100% concealed. Because if you have a handle just barely showing in between the seat and the center console, that could be considered concealed. But what happens is people put them in their cars and they forget they're there. They go to the 7-Eleven, 1 o'clock in the morning, go in to get a Slurpee, come out, their gun's gone. Well, who do you think's hanging out at the 7-Eleven at 1 o'clock in the morning? It's not the League of Women Voters. It's kids looking for guns. The state police can show you film of young people walking up and down the street, shaking car doors, looking to get in. 1 out of every 10 cars broken into in this country, somebody gets a gun. This is the one that can actually move the numbers. It's not going to do anything immediately, but if we can start re-educating the public on the need to be safe with guns. Our concealed weapons holders in the Commonwealth of Virginia are responsible people for the very most part. And I think we can get back. This was the law before 2010. We can go back to the old law. It worked great. It was in the best interest of public safety. And with that, I would urge you once again to pass Senate Bill 1329. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in
Madam
favor?
President,
For what purpose does the senator from Rockingham rise?
I rise to ask whether the senator would yield for question.
Will the senior senator from Fairfax rise and yield?
I do.
The senator from Fairfax yields. Senator Obenshain.
Madam President, what I would ask is, even with this law, this bill, am I correct in my understanding that a person without a concealed carry permit, when they are traveling, they, in order to avoid breaking this code section, would have to travel with their gun exposed, like on the dashboard or on the seat?
Senator Marsden.
Thank you. I would answer the senator with yes. I think that would be the case. That's the same thing, really, as open carry.
Right. And Madam
The
President,
senator from Rockingham.
Further question.
Further question, Senator Marsden. Will you yield?
I yield.
The senator yields. The senator from Rockingham has the floor.
Further question is, what do they do when they leave their car to go into a place that's posted? They just leave it on the seat or on the dashboard?
Senator Marsden has the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would assume, hopefully, at that point in time, if they exited the car, I suppose they could conceal it. But that doesn't make any sense to do that. So I wouldn't carry an open gun in a car because it presents a danger to our fellow citizens, a danger to other passengers in the car. But it's certainly lawful to do so. The shotgun rack on the back of a truck that's left there when people go, it's the same thing. I think it's ill-advised. I wouldn't do it. I think it's terribly dangerous. But essentially, they could leave it in the car and expose it to risk of being stolen.
Thank the senator speaking of the bill.
The senator from Rockingham has the floor.
Just very briefly, I applaud the effort of the senator to try and prevent gun thefts. We're all opposed to that and would love to do that. I would respectfully submit that this does not do that. This makes it more likely that guns are going to be stolen from cars. I think this legislation, the law as it currently stands, was drafted in order to make sure that people who were lawfully transporting a firearm had a way to do so that didn't expose anybody to any hazard and allowed them to transport it in a locked container or a secure container. And when they exit the vehicle, they're absolutely able to do so. And nobody's going to be able to see the exposed gun. I respectfully submit that this is probably going to make it more likely, rather than less, that guns are going to be stolen from cars.
Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin County.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking against SB 1329.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, now I've seen it all. Something in securing a gun, and if you see a container in which you put your firearm in, usually has some padding, very secure, has a locking device, usually has a way to which only you can get to it, sometimes with a key, sometimes with a code. And what we're trying to make sure is that nobody's carrying a concealed weapon when it's sitting in the back seat, secured and hidden from view because it's secured. Now, let's put it on the dash. Actually, I'd like to amend this bill, Madam President, to include a sign, much like the invasive plant sign, that must be conspicuously next to the firearm saying, free firearm inside to any bad person who would like to have it, since I have to put it on the seat or on the dash. Now we're repealing even the good laws that keep people safe, because any firearm law, to some here, is a bad firearm law. Quite frankly, what we're doing here is we're making it less safe, more conspicuous, and more likely, in my opinion, Madam President, that this firearm will be stolen by a bad guy and used to do bad things. Whereas before, the good guy with the storage box would have kept it from view and people would not know that that is inside the vehicle. So why don't we put that sign, just like the invasive plant, free gun here on top of the car when we park, and this will make this bill perfect, Madam President. For those reasons, I ask that you not support SB 1329. Thank you.
The senator from Western Prince William, Senator Rome.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, will the senior senator from Fairfax yield for a question?
Will the senior senator from Fairfax rise and yield?
I yield.
The senator yields. The senator from Western Prince William has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I would ask the senator that is not the point of this, that during the last 15 years, there has been such a significant escalation in guns being stolen from cars and vehicles in the first place, that by doing nothing, we have not improved the situation. In fact, we've made it considerably worse.
The senior senator from Fairfax.
It continues to get worse. It's tripled in the past 5-6 years. Richmond, just in 22, had 637 guns stolen out of vehicles in the city of Richmond. Thank God for Tennessee. They're the league leaders. Memphis had 3,000 guns stolen from cars.
And Madam President, will the senator yield for one additional question?
Will the senator yield for an additional question?
I yield.
Senior senator from Fairfax County yields. Senator Rome has the floor.
Madam President, I would ask the senator that were any amendments offered on this bill dealing with placement of the gun when the bill came up in committee?
The senior senator from
Thank you, Madam President.
Fairfax has the floor.
No amendments were offered.
I thank the senator.
If no one else wishes to speak, could I close out?
The senator may continue.
Thank you so much. You know, I once voted for allowing concealed weapons holders to go into into restaurants that served alcohol. Boy, it cost me about $600,000 running against that one in a primary. I did that when I was over in the House. The reason was when I was a juvenile probation officer and when I was a detention superintendent, my gang guys were saying, oh yeah, we hang out in front of sports bars or places where there's a lot of heavy drinking, and we watch for the motion for the concealed weapons holders who couldn't take their guns into the bar. You wait for the hand to go in, put it in the glove compartment to comply with the law. And they said, we're in that car in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. And it became clear that when we made it so that you could put the gun down between the seat and the center console or in the door slot, still partially visible from the outside, but people forget they're there. They store them improperly. They're not concealed weapons holders. They're not serious people about gun safety. You know, we need to get back to the law that we had. I worked for the juvenile court for 30 years. I don't remember ever having much of a problem with guns taken from cars or weapons taken from cars. It just didn't exist until we put this law in Virginia in 2010, and we've just watched the continued deterioration, the continued threats of harm to people from these guns. It continues to get worse. We need to stop it. We need to act now. Please vote for 1329. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 18.
Ayes 20, noes 18. The bill passes.
Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on second reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the Senate bills on second reading on the uncontested counters on pages 17 through 29, Senate Bill 745 through 1419 be advanced to their engrossment and third reading in a block. After the adoption of any amendments thereto, any senator desiring to move a bill from the block shall do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate bills on second reading on the uncontested calendar on pages 17 through 29, Senate Bill 745 through Senate Bill 419, be engrossed and advanced to their third reading in the block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bills. Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
Senate Bill 745, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 752, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
The senator from Arlington, Senator Fola.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 771, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 784, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Suderline, the senator from Roanoke.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I would ask that the Senate agree to the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 821, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Craig, the senator from Chesapeake.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I ask that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 859, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 896, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. Senate Bill 905, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 908, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 934, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 968, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 989, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendment.
Senator Williams Graves, the senator from Norfolk.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1006, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Senator Somerville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County. Approaches.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1015, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1019, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1030, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Pagarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the substitute be agreed to.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1034, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1035, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Again, Senator Pekarsky.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1038, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1059, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 1064, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1081, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1089, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 1094, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with amendments.
Senator Jordan, the senator from Isle of Wight.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
Senate Bill 1096, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 1124, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1146, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Senator French, senator from Shenandoah.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1165, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1177, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1212, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the substitute be agreed to.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1221, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Senator Ayer, the senator from Eastern Enrico.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1240, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
The senator from Colonial Heights, Senator Sturdivant.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1245, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator D. Steff, the senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1253, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1280, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1291, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. Senate Bill 1364, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 1370, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. Senate Bill 1408, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Thank you, Madam President. I would move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1415, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senate Bill 1419, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendments.
Again, Senator Ayer, the senator from Eastern Enrico.
Madam President, I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. The question is, shall the Senate bills now be engrossed and advanced to their third reading? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are engrossed and advanced to their third reading.
Regular calendar, Senate bills on second reading. Senate Bill 883, a bill relating to purchase, possession, or transportation of firearm, assault and battery of a family or household member, or intimate partner penalties. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations, and we have a floor substitute.
The senior senator from Loudoun, Senator Perry.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, with the recommendation that it be rejected, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
This does not have any other substitutes, amendments before it, so you're simply waiving the reading of your floor amendment.
The next one.
Madam President, I believe there's a floor amendment for this bill as well.
That's what you're waiving. You're asking for the waiving of the reading of your floor amendment?
Madam President, I move we waive the reading of my floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator Perry.
Madam President, I move that the floor substitute be agreed to.
And with an explanation?
Speaking to that motion, Madam President.
Senator has the floor.
Madam President, this is a bill that attempts to close the boyfriend loophole. Those members that were here last year would remember that I had a bill very similar to this last year. In fact, the bill that passed out of courts, I believe, was identical to the bill last year. This floor substitute, what it does is it takes that term dating relationship or intimate partner, I think is the phrase before, and I replace that definition with the definition that comes out of the federal code that they used in the 2022 Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So that passed out of Congress with bipartisan support, and I took that definition and plugged it in here into this bill. And Madam President, with that explanation, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, we're asking for the substitute be agreed to. Senator Perry. The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Perry.
Madam President, I move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill now be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 886, a bill relating to trigger activator definition penalty, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute, from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations, and there is a floor substitute.
Again, Senator Perry.
Yes, Madam President. My apologies. Madam President, and I think with the recommendation that it be rejected, I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the substitute from Committee of Courts be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute from Courts is rejected. Senator Perry.
And Madam President, I move to waive the reading of the floor substitute.
Question is, shall the reading of the floor substitute be waived? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor substitute is waived. Senator Perry.
And Madam President, I move that the floor substitute be agreed to and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Okay, this is a bill similar to the auto sears bill that passed out of here last year with bipartisan support and was signed into law by the governor. This bill seeks to add on to the definition of trigger activator or further clarify those devices that take what would otherwise not be a machine gun like tool and has definitions and words that we have seen now on the streets that are used in the same capacity as the auto sear was last year. That includes things like bump stocks, trigger cranks, hellfire triggers, binary trigger systems, burst trigger systems, those types of devices. I think there was a question in courts about competition devices, and those are explicitly excluded from this floor substitute. Madam President, I move that the floor substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the floor substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor substitute is agreed to. Senator Perry.
And Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1182, a bill relating to carrying a firearm or explosive material within Capitol Square or building owned or leased by the Commonwealth, exemptions, public institutions of higher education penalty, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute, from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute, and we have a floor substitute.
Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, with recommendation that it be rejected, I move that we adopt the substitute from the Committee on Courts of Justice.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the substitute from Courts of Justice be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
The substitute from Courts is rejected. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, with the recommendation that it be rejected, I move that we adopt the substitute from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the substitute now from Finance and Appropriations be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
The substitute from Finance is rejected. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move that the reading of the floor amendment be waived.
The question is, shall the floor substitute, the reading thereof, be waived? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor substitute is waived. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move that the floor substitute be adopted, and I'd like to speak to that.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, this is the bill that makes it a Class 1 misdemeanor to possess a firearm on a public college campus. Last year, this bill has passed this body both in 2023 and 2024. Last year, the governor did not sign this bill, and he said that the bill itself did not recognize the diversity of the Commonwealth of Virginia and the differences from one region, one institution to another. And so what this bill does is says that college campuses it will be a misdemeanor on college campuses when a board of visitors for that college adopts the policy. It'll have the force of law. The amendments, the language was inartfully drawn a couple of times. We've been working through it. We've also made sure that it does not affect the military programs at Virginia Tech and VMI where firearm is a part of the instructional program, or in the ROTC programs that exist throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. Again, I'd move that the amendment be agreed to. Floor substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the floor substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The floor substitute is agreed to. Senator Deeds.
Now I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor substitute, the engrossment and advancement is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1220, a bill relating to carrying concealed weapons exceptions penalty, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator DeSteff, the senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
Which substitute, sir? I think you want to reject the Courts of Justice substitute? Is that right?
Madam President, let's reject the court's substitute with a recommendation that it be rejected. I move the court substitute.
With a recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the substitute from courts be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute from courts is rejected. Senator DeSteff.
Madam President, I move the Finance Committee substitute.
The question
Madam
is,
President.
for what purpose does the senator from Eastern Fairfax County rise?
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate if the senator could describe for me how the finance sub is different than what passed the courts committee, because I wasn't aware of that.
Senator DeSteff has the floor.
So, Madam Chair, on Senate Bill 1220, the difference between the substitute that passed finance and the one that went to courts, the courts one had included, Madam President, let's take that one by temporarily.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1220 goes by temporarily.
The committee substitute has been adopted by the Senate.
The senior senator from Enrico, Senator Bagby.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced on to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 738. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Pekarsky.
Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 740, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we engross and advance Senate Bill 740 to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 743, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 815, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
The junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill be advanced and engrossed its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 907, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with an amendment.
Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin County.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that the committee amendment be agreed to with regard to SB 907.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that Senate Bill 907 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill now be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 956, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
Senator Stewart, the senator from King George.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1017, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Rome, the senator from Western Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1032, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1048, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Again, Senator Pekarsky.
Madam President, I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1052, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben.
I move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1098, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Richmond City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Hashmi.
I move that the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1104, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, I move that SB 1104 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1105, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Again, Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, I move that SB 1105 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1107, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
The senator from Isle of Wight, Senator Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. I would move that Senate Bill 1107 be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1222, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Thank you, Madam President. I would. Are you done? Thank you. Would engross and advance the bill to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1331, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
The senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1407, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Again, Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Madam President, I would move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Reeves.
Madam President, I would move that we engross and advance the bill to its third constitutional reading.
Question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1413, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with amendment.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax.
I move the committee amendment.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. Senator Sorovell.
Move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Returning to page 31, Senate Bill 1220, reported from the Committee on Education, Finance, and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator DeSteff, the senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Madam President, I move the Finance Committee substitute. And speaking to that,
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, what the Finance Committee substitute did was we added violent felons as described in subsection C of 171805 for the possession of the air-operated or gas-powered weapons to this code section under 182308.2A. And with that, I move the Finance Committee substitute.
Madam President.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Would gentleman yield for question?
Will the senior senator from Virginia Beach yield for question?
Madam President, happy to.
Senator from Virginia Beach yields. Senator from Eastern Fairfax County has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I have both bills in front of me. The version that passed out of the Courts of Justice Committee already included felons, so adding violent felons doesn't add anything. It appears to narrow the bill. And so I'm trying to understand what you mean by adding violent felons when it didn't do that.
The senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Madam President, on line 26 of the bill, we added violent felons to ensure that we were not excluding some individuals who were nonviolent felons. And we wanted to limit it down to a specific class of felons. Therefore, we added violent felons as described in subsection C of 17.1805.
Madam President, gentleman yield for another question.
Will the senior senator from Virginia Beach yield for another question?
Madam President, happy to yield.
The senator yields. The senator from Eastern Fairfax County has the floor.
Okay, Madam President, perhaps the gentleman didn't hear me. The bill already included all felons, violent, nonviolent, etc. It's not clear to me why we would limit it to only violent felons. We didn't add violent felons. You limited it to violent felons. And it's a policy amendment, not a money amendment. I'm trying to understand why it was made.
The senior senator from Virginia Beach has the floor.
Madam President, there were concerns with speaking to answering the question from
the senator has the floor.
And Madam President, we limited this down to violent felons because as there was discussion after it passed Courts of Justice, there were concerns that we were including felons who may have written a bad check or had done other things. And Madam President, that's why we specifically addressed violent felons as described in Section C of 17-1-805.
Further questions, Senator?
Madam President, I'd like to ask the bill to go by for the day so that I can evaluate the policy, because the policy seems to have changed. I need to have some other people look at it.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1220 goes by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on first reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all the Senate bills on first reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 39 through 44, Senate Bill 758 through 1402, that the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles of Senate bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 39 through 44, Senate Bills 758 through Senate Bills 1402 be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the...
Ayes 36, no 0.
Ayes 36, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Surreville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bills to go by for the day.
The question is, shall the Senate bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on their second reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate joint resolutions on third reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the Senate joint resolutions on third reading uncontested calendar on pages 45 through 46, SJR 273 to 286, be placed on their final passage in the block. Any senator desiring to move a resolution from the block shall do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution.
The question is, shall the Senate joint resolutions on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 45 through 46, Senate Joint Resolution 273 through Senate Joint Resolution 286, be placed upon their final passage in the block with the understanding that any senator desiring a resolution to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution. Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The resolutions are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the resolutions.
Senate Joint Resolution 273.
Senator Durant, the senator from Stafford.
Madam President, I am abstaining pursuant to Rule 36 on lines 171 to 172, but voting on SJRs 273 as a whole.
Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Madam President, pursuant to Rule 36, I am abstaining to lines 282 and 283, but voting on SJR 273 as a whole.
SJR 274. SJR 276. SJR 286.
Senator Jordan, the senator from Olive White.
Madam President, I'm abstaining pursuant to Rule 36 on lines 351 through 352, but voting on SJR 286 as a whole.
The question is, shall the resolutions in the block be agreed to? All in favor of passage of the resolutions will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The joint resolutions are agreed to.
Regular calendar, Senate Joint Resolution on third reading. Senate Joint Resolution 275.
The junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate Joint Resolution 275 passes.
Senator Diggs, the senator from York.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm abstaining pursuant to Rule 36 on lines 211 and 212, but voting on SJR 275 as a whole.
Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Yes, Madam President, I'm abstaining pursuant to Rule 36 on lines 497 and 498, but voting on SJR 275 as a whole.
The question is, shall Senate Joint Resolution 275 be agreed to? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. Senate Joint Resolution 275 is agreed to.
Uncontested calendar, Senate Joint Resolution on second reading. Senate Joint Resolution 293, confirming the appointments by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia of the Chairman of the Virginia Criminal Sentencing Commission.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. Move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The Senate Joint Resolution is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Joint Resolution 253, establishing a joint subcommittee to study the consolidation and scheduling of general elections in Virginia.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County. Oh.
Madam Clerk.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Senator, I was hasty. We have a supplemented calendar.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if that completes the first calendar.
Yes, sir. And we have a supplemental calendar.
Yep.
It's blue.
Yep.
Supplemental calendar number 1, Monday, January 27th, 2025. Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on first reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the Senate bills on first reading on the uncontested and regular blue calendars, pages 1 through 4, Senate bills 949 to 995, that the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles of Senate bills on the uncontested and regular calendar on the supplemental calendar number 1, pages 1 through 4, Senate Bill 949 through Senate Bill 995 be dispensed with? All in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 1.
Ayes 37, noes 1. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Surreville.
Madam President, I move that all the bills be passed by for the day.
The question is, shall all the bills on the uncontested calendar, shall all the bills in the block on the uncontested and regular calendars now on second reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate Joint Resolution on first reading.
Senator Surreville.
Madam President, I move that all the Senate joint resolutions on first reading on the uncontested regular calendars, pages 4 through 6, SJR 255 to 263, that the rules be suspended and the first reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the first reading of the titles of the Senate joint resolutions on the uncontested calendar and regular calendar, pages 4 through 6, Senate Joint Resolution 255 through Senate Joint Resolution 263, be waived? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The reading of the titles is waived. Senator Surville.
Madam President, I move that all the Senate joint resolutions be passed by for the day.
The question is, shall the Senate joint resolutions on the uncontested and regular calendars now on second reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolutions will go by for the day. Senator Surville.
Inquiry of the clerk, does that complete all of our calendars?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
The senator from Western Prince William, Senator Rowe.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, rise for a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. So normally we only reserve honor and memory for dignitaries and such, so I figured that wasn't the right avenue for this after talking to leadership. But I did want to at least just send condolences to the WTOP family for the loss of Dimitri Sotis. So those of us who are from Northern Virginia in particular, if you've spent your time listening to WTOP, he was their evening anchor. He called from about 7:30, 11:30 at night. And he was on air for decades and just like the last 2.5 decades. All of us who are in this room, who are from the Northern Virginia delegation, he called your race at some point. You know, Madam President, he called yours in 2021, and he was a consummate, phenomenal reporter, journalist. And it's not just the anchor guy who just read a script or whatever. He was super quick on the fly. He interviewed a lot of people on air with the same level of intensity that you would expect from a good seasoned reporter. I have no idea what his politics were, and that's good because he was a good reporter, and that's what it was supposed to be. And, you know, I know the senator from Western Fairfax would appreciate how proud he was of his Greek heritage. He would go back to Greece quite often throughout his life. His parents were from there originally. And all around, his colleagues, over in D.C. are just in a lot of mourning. He lived in Alexandria. He's found unresponsive on Saturday. And so just on behalf of the Senate, to everyone over at WTOP, we just send you our condolences and thank you for allowing him to inform us and give us the news for 2.5 decades. It's a huge loss for all of us in the DMV area. So thank you, Madam President.
The senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
There is still an opportunity to contribute to the Massey Cancer Fund involving our basketball heroes this year. And, one of the good things about this place is we pretty much always make our goal of everybody participating. $250 towards the goal. We usually raise about $10,000. And it's a great cause. So get them to my office, drop them off here at the desk, mail them. Do whatever you can, but let's make the goal this year. Thanks so much.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I rise for an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just ask all the Democrats in the Commerce and Labor Committee if you could meet over in the corner really quick upon adjournment for a quick meeting when we get off the floor here. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Senator McDougal, the senator from Hanover.
Madam President, rise for an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
If all the Republicans can meet in this corner behind Senator Hackworth.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? The clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, Monday, January 27, 2025, the Committee on Commerce and Labor will meet 15 minutes after adjournment, Senate Room A, GAB. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Economic Development and Natural Resources will meet at 4:30 p.m. in the Finance and Appropriations Room, 13th floor, GAB. Senators Marsden, Favola, Stewart, Reeves, Saraville. The Northern Virginia Delegation Caucus will meet at 5:30 p.m. House Room 1000, 10th floor, GAB. Up 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, January 28th, 2025, the Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Resources will meet at 7:30 a.m. Senate Room A, GAB, Senators Lucas, Deeds, Locke, and McDougal. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government will meet at 7:30 a.m. in the Senate Finance and Appropriations Room, 13th floor, GAB, Senators Surville, Marsden, Eben, McPike, and Pillion. The Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources Subcommittee on Companion Animals will meet at 8 a.m. Senate Room C, GAB, Senators Prakarsky, Stanley, and Rome. The Committee on Finance and Appropriations will meet at 9 a.m. Senate Room A, GAB. The Committee on Finance and Health will meet immediately upon adjournment of the Senate Finance and Appropriations Committee in Senate Room A, GAB. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:15 a.m. Senate Room 1, Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:15 a.m. Senate Room 2 of the Capitol.
Companion animals is canceled.
The senior senator from Enrico, Senator Bagby. Senator will hold. Madam Clerk.
The Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources Subcommittee on Companion Animals has been canceled.
Senator Bagby, the senior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, is the time expired to do a point of personal privilege?
No, sir.
Madam President, we lost another giant for me. It may not be a giant for everybody, but I know he worked on a number of our campaigns. He worked on everybody's first campaign from mine to the senator from Portsmouth, and also the senator from Eastern Henrico, a gentleman by the name of Michael G. Brown, and the G stands for good man. Many of them know him as Doug Wilder's nephew. Some people know him as Secretary of the Election Board, but he was just an all-around good man, always willing to give advice, always willing to take time for the new folks that came on, as well as be there for individuals that have served for a long period of time. And so I feel like I'm losing a lot of my OGs. And I was hesitant to stand up this evening because I felt like I needed to give him more time and prepare, because he is the first individual that set me down at my kitchen table to have a conversation about what running for office really looks like. And it's one of those things, he was the connector from generation to generation. We saw Doug Wilder the other day, but his nephew is the one that was really the one that was on the ground, not only on Doug Wilder's campaign, but on many of our campaigns. And so I know that the President Pro Tem will make a motion, but I wanted to say farewell to my good friend.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Hearing none, Chair calls on Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Madam President, please bear with me for a moment. I'd just like to just make a few words. I'm pretty much at a loss because I've lost 5 people close to me this month, and it's been tough. Keeps me awake at night. Michael Brown was a very close friend to me as well. Not only did he manage my first campaign when I ran for the Senate, he and I were both in the civil rights struggle together. We were presidents of our local branches of NAACP at the same time. So my relationship with him goes a long way back, even before me being elected to the Senate of Virginia. And I just need more time to be able to prepare remarks that I think that are suitable for what I need to say about him. And I don't know if it's appropriate, Madam President, that I know we're adjourned until 12 noon on tomorrow. And I'm not even sure, Madam Clerk, correct me, if
You haven't, the senator has not yet stated her motion.
Yes, Madam President, I move that we do now adjourn until 12 noon on tomorrow. And if it's appropriate, I'm not sure that it is, but I'll try anyway, that we adjourn in honor of Michael G. Brown.
The question is, and it is appropriate, Senator, the question is, shall the Senate now adjourn until 12 noon tomorrow in honor of Michael G. Brown? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The Senate will now stand adjourned in memory of Michael G. Brown until 12 noon tomorrow.
This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Chamber. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia.